Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and today I'd like to welcome you back to Whips and Bits. I haven't got a clue, give me a second. To Whips and Bits number 43. I would like to welcome all my old subscribers back and all you newbies. Hello. I hope you're enjoying the content that's going on the channel and soon to go up on the channel. Speaking of content, let's get on with our video catch up for this week. Right, so of course last week we had our Whips and Bits number 42. I followed that up with the Moose Cow part 2. This little big humongous guy behind me, he is actually bigger than what he looks on screen because I've actually got him at quite a distance behind me. Then we had a yarn unboxing from the Secret Yarn Stash. Shh, it's a secret. Now our lass over at the Secret Yarn Stash apologises that she can't get yarn out to America and other parts of the world as yet. She's still quite new to this. She is working her way through it. Now, she is able to post out, of course, to the UK, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, North and South. So, if any of my UK and Irish crazies are in need of yarn, jump on the affiliated link, which is in the description box below. Now on there you will find lots of different brands that she's got, all at really good prices. Now I'm not just saying this because there is affiliated link, I'm saying it because I had a look through before I agreed to do. And she beats Wool Warehouse and she beats Derrimores on pretty much everything. The only thing she matches is the Stylecraft Special DK. So as far as I'm concerned, that is a good deal. I'll tell you a little bit more about her further on in today's Whips and Bits. But let's get back to the other videos that I put out for you. We also had a live go out this week. Sorry it didn't come out on the Tuesday. I wasn't here on the Tuesday, but I had so much going on. So I ended up having to cancel it and move it over to a Wednesday. And so you've got the Wednesdays live if you fancy catching up. It's only an hour. I'm not too much of a gas bag yet. And then of course we have our Throwback Friday for Friday. And that is episode number 5. Right, so what have I been up to this week? Right, yarn related, I got the yarn in for the poppies. And so I decided this week I was going to challenge myself and see if I could get through an entire ball of red. And I have, and I've managed to do it. Now, on the Facebook page, I did put a little competition, well not a competition, but a little bragging rights thing up of, can you guess how many poppy fronts I can get out of 100 grams. It turns out that I'm looking at 62, which isn't bad going really for the 100 grams. And so that also makes it a heck of a lot easier for me to work out how many balls I'm going to need for the entirety, because I've also mucked up my maths when it came to the black. I thought I was going to need a lot more than it looks like I'm going to. So that's an added bonus because it means I've got a spare black from the order, or maybe even 2 spare black from the order that I can muck around with if needs be. Right, so let's get on with the poppy count for this week. Those ones that I was telling you about, I've not added them in because they're not complete. Right, so we have got the 60 from last week, and that's the full box, which is here. So that's full box number 1, and that is our first 60. And we now have another 25. So that takes us up to... I'm on one of them moods. 85. So that's 85 of the 1,000 done. And of course, as I said, I've got a few more that I've still got to put together and put in bags and label and pin and all that. Now, I now know I've got 60 to play with. You now know I've got 60 to play with, which means I now know I can take a week off and film a tutorial and not have to worry that my poppy count's too low. So that's my plan of action, is to film something and get something ready for you for a fortnight's time. Sweet, on to the next bit. Right, so here's a little bragging rights for you for next week. Do you think, or not next week, maybe next week, maybe not, but bragging rights, do you think that the poppies that I make with the next 100 grams is going to be higher, lower, or the same amount? Right, so I also managed to sew this little cutie together. Finally, all the parts are in. He's got his little feet, he's got his little hands, he's got his little head attached. But I don't think he's finished. He needs something else. So my friend who's actually ordered this, and we'll get a photograph of this in a few minutes so that she doesn't get it spoiled as much if she decides to watch the whips and bits. But he is going to have some extras, so next week I will probably have a photograph of him, because as soon as she sees that he's at this point, she's going to be saying, when is he going out, when is he going out? And of course I want to get him finished off, and I want to get him out to her as soon as possible. Right, so now I've got some breaking news. Okay, so yet again we are hitting Australia first. Now in Australia you guys have had some Milan bag refills. Now these are just the ones I know, and I don't know if they're anywhere near you. Fingers crossed they are. Right, so we have got refills in Ashmore, Mentone, Tugger, I'm going to have to write these ones down the bottom, Tugger, Lanston, Noarlunga. Now Noarlunga has 2 bins, and one of them is in the yarn section, and the other one they've hidden down by the party items. Evil. You've got Capella. No, try again. Right, okay, I'll write that one down here too. We have got the Purple Ladies, Your Spotlight, reopened a couple of days ago, and hopefully you can still get it, but you should be able to get 30% off of full priced items, which is pretty nifty. And also, if you are ordering online and you spend $30, you can get $10 off with the code SAVE10. It's all in capitals, SAVE10. There is also birthday 10 floating around. I don't know, I haven't actually checked them out myself because of course can't order. So good luck, fingers crossed those codes work for you. And give us a shout if you know of anything else. Right, so for my UK and Irish girls, now of course you guys all know that I've now got this affiliated link with the Secret Yarn Stash. Shh, secret. And of course I've said to you that their prices are better than the Derrimores and the Wool Warehouse. Now a little bit more information for you. If you you can jump on the affiliated link, that's not going to cost you anything to use, okay? It just helps me out a little bit, because then I'll get a couple of points when you spend some cash. And all of the points that I'll be raising, any points that I make there, I will be using to buy the yarn for the poppies. So in a way you're helping me out if you use the link, but only use it if you actually want to. Don't use it if you feel like you have to, okay? But as I said, prices are super nice compared to other everywhere else. Right, so you get free delivery if you spend over 30 quid, discounts on your first order. If you spend over 50 quid, you'll also get a £10 back on your for your next order. If you sign up and become a VIP member, you will get a birthday email with a gift. Don't know what it is. I've got to wait till August. Then also, because you're a VIP member, you'll also be able to collect points for each of your own orders. So then it means after a certain amount of time, once you've spent a bit, you'll be able to get free yarn too. There is also for the VIP member only, you get offers and the opportunity to enter giveaways. And there's a couple of other bits, but I don't want to spoil it for you. So pop over, have a nose and see what you think. Just remember, click the link below. Right, and for the American lot, I'm sorry guys, I haven't had a chance to search out any new deals for you, but you're bound to be able to find something if you're popping into Joann's or the other one. Right, so I'm actually recording this on Saturday for a change. Normally I record on a Friday, my whips and bits, but we had a bit of an issue. As some of you who joined in the live or have managed to catch up with the live earlier on in the week will know, on Monday we got a new patio door put in and a new front door because they were hanging off their hinges, falling apart and rotting away. And it was only going to take Liam a couple more bumps into it to actually probably knock the frame out and the door to go flat on the floor. So we'd put the order in during the gap between lockdowns last year, and finally we had the guys come round to put it in. Now our I should say our fitting guys are actually really local. They live right up by near where Rob's office is, so we knew that they were pretty safe to come round, and of course they're masked up, they're gloved up and all the rest of it, and there's all these rules and regs that they now have to follow, like they can't use the toilet at my house, they have to go home. I'm not allowed to offer them a brew, not allowed to make them a bacon butty if they're here over a certain length of time, which to me is really alien because my dad's a tradie, he's an electrician, and he always brought me up to treat tradies with a lot of respect, treat them nicely, and they do more. It's like, as soon as they walk through the door, before they've emptied the tools out, they get offered a brew. And we don't just do little cups here, no, we do the pint mugs. They're the cups that you would get from like Sports Direct. Everyone seems to have one of them in their cupboard. Well, I've got 3, and they are my tradie cups. And when a trade comes around, I say to him, do you want a silly little thimble of tea or do you want a mug full? And they look at me and they say mug full, and I'm like, yep, Sports Direct mug it is. And they're like, oh yeah, go for it. So of course, make them the tea. I would normally make them a cup of tea and send them on their way to do their job. And then if they're stuck here over lunch, they'd normally get a bacon sandwich, because of course if you make them lunch they don't have to go out and get it, which means they get the job done even quicker and keeps them sweet, keeps them happy. But of course I couldn't do that because of COVID. So the lads have come in, they've stripped out the old doors, they've put the new ones in, and it didn't actually take them too long. I think in total they were only here for about 2.5 to 3 hours, if that. I think they got here, what was it, about 9, and they were gone by 12. So it was really good, and they disinfected absolutely everything before they locked up and showed me what I had to do with the keys and everything, which I know anyway because I'm a locksmith. But yeah, so they disinfected everything down and off they went, and then I went behind and re-disinfected anyway. So of course we are safe in the house, we are still safe. We will, fingers crossed, in 2 weeks time know if we're COVID free, which we should be, there shouldn't be an issue there. So of course I'd done the job really beautifully on Monday, but it meant that downstairs was Baltic. It was absolutely freezing, so I wasn't able to crochet because my fingers were just shivering too much like the rest of my body, although I was wearing my thermal undies. But yeah, so it took me sort of most of Tuesday to warm the old bones back up, so to speak, and be able to get back onto the crocheting bandwagon again. And then of course we've done the live on Wednesday, and Thursday evening the back door was jamming. It was getting hard to turn the lock, and then Friday comes. I open the door to let Liam out. I go to close it, it just bounces back. The thing sort of jumped its runners slightly, and because it jumped its runners it couldn't be closed. And then of course when I did manage to get it back on its runners, because I know what I'm doing, the lock wouldn't lock because it dropped. So of course it's not even been a week, so on the phone again, and I'm like, right, this has happened to it, this is what needs done, send the boys around please. So because it was an emergency, because of course I couldn't secure the door overnight, the boys came back, they fixed it for me so that I could close it, and I'm now waiting for them to come back next week to change the lock that they've put in because it doesn't look nice. And as I said to him, I could change it because I've got umpteen amount of locks in the garage, but I've paid for this door and we've paid a fortune for this door, and I am not replacing the lock. It's not my fault, it's gone. And it was really strange actually. It's something that I've never seen, and according to the lads, they've never seen it as well. It was a Yale lock and it snapped. It actually snapped midway. I've got a photograph, I'll put it up here. For anyone that's interested, Yale locks don't snap. But this one did. Right, so of course while the lads were here playing around with that yesterday, I was flicking through Facebook Marketplace. Because I like to have a look, I like to see if there's anything I can find that I like the price of, really. But of course, because I've got a decent yarn stash now, I'm not really going down the yarn route as much unless it's something super duper special. But I did come across one listing, and it is, you girls are going to kick me, I'm going to run out of room for this sort of stuff. It is an entire folder full. I haven't even had a chance to go through it yet. An entire folder full of crochet nails. Okay, so I don't know what year they were in or anything like that yet. As I said, I don't know, because I was meant to pick them up yesterday. But bless, the lass was really, really lovely and said, no, it's all right, I'll hold on to them for you. Which I thought was really nice, because somebody else had said that they wanted them, but I beat them to it, so I got in first dibs. And she only wanted a couple of quid for them, which was even better. So I travelled from mine to Gloucestershire, for any of you outside of the country. It's spelled Gloucestershire, but we say Gloucestershire. So I travelled down to Gloucestershire to pick these up. And I know the drive pretty well, but I have my little tablet with me because of course I haven't ventured too far out for a good couple of years, for about a year and a bit easy now. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to go on a long drive. It's 20 odd minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. It's not a long drive, but for me it was a long drive. So I jumped in the car, I got my tablet going, telling me to turn left, turn right. Lovely sat nav. And I found the lady's house really, really easily. So I've picked up the bits and I've jumped back in the car, and I don't have internet on my tablet, and I don't have my internet on my phone when I'm driving. Point blank refuse. You can't get hold of me if I'm driving. If you phone me, I don't pick up. I refuse to use mobile devices when I'm driving. And I'll tell you what, my friends and family hate it. But it's like, no, you can wait until I get home. So I had to use the force, as we call it, which is trying to remember. Now you guys know what my memory is like, so some of you are probably thinking, oh God, how bad was it? Well, my little jaunt that should have taken me 25 to 30 minutes to get back, I ended up stopping halfway and going to Aldi's shopping, because I was like, right, I'm at a big Aldi's, I like this, it's got wide room and we need food. So I was planning to do a food shop, but I wasn't planning to go to the Aldi's in Cheltenham, which is the next town, like big town along. I intended to go to my local Aldi's, which was only 25 to 30 minutes away from this lady's house. Instead, I drove from hers towards, I got to the roundabout that had, well, they had roadworks. You couldn't quite see the signs until it was too late, so I took the wrong turn in off the roundabout and ended up going further into Gloucestershire, and ended up going to Gloucester, pretty much getting a stone's throw away from Gloucester Docks, which is absolutely beautiful there, but totally the wrong direction. Sorry, it was a delivery for the husband. Right, so of course I'm up at Gloucester Docks, which means I've done an extra 10 to 15 minutes in the wrong direction. So of course I'm really lucky, because I used to work at a hotel up near Gloucester Docks, so I know my way back. And I'm in the car and I'm like, right, let's turn around here, head back the way you know, the way that you've driven 4 times a week for because I used to work nights. It was like 4 times a week for a year and a half. You can drive this in your sleep. So I'm driving back the way I should be going. I took another wrong turn on a roundabout. And that's why I ended up going into Cheltenham. And I'm driving along and I'm like, oh crikey, where am I? I recognise like the road sign saying like which A road I'm meant to be following. I'm like, okay, I know that A road leads to where I need to be. Let's see if I can find it. So I'm driving along and all of a sudden I'm like, haha! There's like a certain shopping centre in Cheltenham. And I'm like, I know that shopping centre. I've just got to hook a left or a right here and go straight, and then I'm going past my daughter's school and I'm going home. And so I'm getting close to where the turning is for my daughter's school, where there's an Aldi, and that's where I jumped in to do my food shopping and then came home. I know that route was safe. But it was an adventure. It was a fun adventure, and on one of these, if I get lost, I just keep going until I can turn around anyway. But I thought you might find it funny that I'm not just ditzy with my words, I'm ditzy with my directions as well. So never ask me how to get to somewhere. Just don't. I can't do left and right. On one of these, I stand there and I go, you go that way, then you go that way, then you go that way. And people are just like, I'm not asking her again. But anyway, getting back to the magazines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them, have a look, see if I've got any doubles. If I've got doubles, then I'm going to put them in the box that I've got hiding behind here that has got prizes in. So it's the stuff that I've got doubles on magazines, or it's yarn that I'm never going to use, or yarn that I've used and I'm not keen on. So any other balls I've got of it go in there. So that when I come to making up prices and things, I can say, right, well, do you want a mag? Do you want one of me second-hand magazines? If you say yes, you say yes. If you say no, I won't be upset by it. And later on next week, hopefully I'll get a video out showing you some of them like I've done previously. Yeah, so there's a nice wad. There is 20 new books to look through. Fingers crossed they're all new for us. Right, I'm just trying to think what else there is for you. Give me a second. I just got a message. Somebody has used the affiliated link. Thank you ever so much, honey. I know who you are. She has popped in an order, and her order has given me enough points to pay for my very first ball of red yarn for the poppies. Now remember, I will be storing up the points for the time being until I can get a decent chunk of yarn coming back through, or at least 1 or 2 balls. So I won't be using it quite yet, although I desperately want to just hit send me red, but I'm not going to, not yet. I'm holding out, because then any points that I get with my own points collecting and with the affiliated link I can then use for the red yarn. But thank you ever so much, honey. You know who you are. So remember, that 1 ball of yarn we now know makes 62, at least 62 poppies for the Royal British Legion for this year's count. That in itself could help raise a minimum of £120 for the Royal British Legion, just from you buying a little bit of yarn using that link. I am so pleased. Thank you ever so much, darling. Right, quick reminder, if you haven't done it yet, I have got a competition running at the moment. You're going to have to scout down a little bit because it was put on last week week before. It is the 1,000 for the 1,000 subbies. Okay, so I'll stick a link actually on the end of the video and in the description box below. So get over there, make sure you watch it all the way through. Okay, just a little tip, there is a question and I need you to answer it. And yes, you can Google it. That's why the information is on the screen, because I know some of you may not have come across the person, company, whatever that I'm using, because they are basically UK. So YouTube search it, because then you will get to see what I'm talking about in the video. and it may give you an earworm, but it also might perk you up and make you laugh, and that's the goal of the channel, isn't it? To make you guys laugh. So, I've not received any photographs from you guys this week on completed projects. I'm assuming some of you are still tackling the big guy there, and of course because of the other projects all taking their time, maybe we'll get some photos next week to share. I am going to head off now. I've got so much stuff to get on with, so I will see you all on Tuesday evening for the live, so that is 7:30 at Greenwich Mean Time. So if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe, and I will see you all really, really soon. Ta-ra for now. Right, so I am fed up with this. I keep saying right so at the beginning of everything. Is it not doing your noggin in? Because it's doing mine in.